All right, so welcome to another video here, and we're going to take a look at JP Morgan stock, and I'm going to give you some technical analysis here after the earnings report. So let's check things out. Keep in mind, none of these are recommendations to buy, sell, or trade the stock. It's just my own personal opinion. All right, so as we get into this, remember, you can also check out tradersfly.com, and that's all related to option trading. But as we get into JP Morgan, you can see quarter earnings. What they're going to talk about is here, the stock beat earnings, but unfortunately it's falling. And then the question is why? Well, simple answer is there's more sellers than buyers. That's pretty easy. Because with the news, they're always trying to tie one thing to, hey, well, what's the big reason? Because we're trying to figure it all out. But really, some people are, dumping it because, hey, the stock price was high. Other people are dumping it because they're taking profits. Other people, they don't like the earnings report, even though it was good. So there's going to be a lot of different reasons. So, take your pick. There's tons of different things. If you compare this to kind of looking at Wells Fargo, and you can see this one's powering higher and doing okay. But if we look at JP Morgan here, we are doing quite a bit of a drop. So I will give you some thoughts here from the stock perspective. As usual, we're going to take a look at monthly, weekly, daily charts. It's nice to always look at multiple perspectives when you do stuff like this, because otherwise people are looking at things just from a short view. So we're going to look at things a little bit longer term view as well. So from a monthly perspective, if you just check things out from about 2012, you can see the stock from these lows was trending and moving fairly well to the upside. Now we're still, according to this trend, you can see here's our supports. According to this trend, we are still far and high away from that. So that could also be another reason. Like, hey, we were kind of toppy in this range and this area. You could see we're creating kind of this rounding area, and that could be a little bit of a problem. So with that stock could pull back here without an issue, and then it could power higher. Look at what happened here in 2020. This stock pulled back. We were trending here on this upper end. Okay, here's our kind of channel, you could say. We got into this upper end, and the stock pulled back. It held that support, and then it continued to push again higher. And this is where we're getting this channel that's being created. So from a channel perspective, we're doing just fine. From a longer term perspective, again, if your investment horizon is longer term, this stock still is intact. But yeah, from a shorter term perspective, if you're looking at it today and you own the stock, it's like, oh crap, this thing is tanking and it's going down. So as we zoom into a weekly time frame, you can see that this week, that stock is pulling back. You can also see that from a weekly perspective, we've kind of just been doing some sideways action. So in this range, we've just been doing some chop. And that also basically means the last year, from March till basically January, we're just chopping around between 147 to about 173. Okay, so zooming in here, you can see we're just chopping around. Let's go into a 2-day so you can see that chop a little bit, or actually even a daily. So you can see here we're chopping, about 148 right there, and here's kind of your 170 range. So we've been chopping around. So it could just be creating some little bit of highs here recently, and you're kind of oscillating in this band, where we're getting into the highs, we're selling off, we're pulling back into the lows, and then we're pushing higher. So there are a few other kind of support levels here if you're trying to watch them. Here's some trends that's kind of shorter term to the upside. And we'll see if that holds. Usually you'll want to wait about 3 to 5 days after earnings to kind of make a trading decision, because you don't know if this is going to start whipping back up or pulling back down. You just don't know yet. It's a little too early to tell. So just give it a bit of time. If you haven't been in the stock, or if you're not trading the stock, give it a couple of days to ensure that that it basically is working out well and fine for you. So anyways, as we dig deeper into the current kind of price trend and channel, you can see the volume is picking up big time on the selling pressure. So the stock was pushing, and then all of a sudden it's starting to pull back. Now this could be just for the reason of the words that were used in the earnings reports. It could be for other reasons. But again, it's not just any single or any one reason. So keep that in mind. So right now we're pulling back. I'd wait a little while before I even touch this thing, because really, if you're looking at it, from what's happening here in this company right now, from the stock perspective, it's just really going sideways. If you can buy it and you're looking to buy at around 150, if you're trying to average into it, that's a really, really decent deal across the last year, right? If you're looking for a good deal over the last year, it's kind of like, hey, I'm looking for a good deal over the last couple of months in blueberries. What's the price, right? So you're kind of looking at what have you been paying and now what is the current price. So here you're looking at over the last year, 150 was a really nice deal. And that stock's still above that. So if you can kind of get it into that level, and if it starts pulling back, then it could be a good deal from that perspective. If you're kind of trading it from a shorter term perspective, well, in that case, you're going to get a lot of whipsaw action from a shorter term perspective. You got basically 155 to 170 in this range, and you're kind of at that lower end as well. So do you want to trade it from a swing up? Or do you want to trade it from when it pops right here? Do you want to try to short it again because you're thinking the longer term might still have pressure, like that upper end of resistance may still have pressure? If that's the case and that's your thinking, then you could short it on a bounce. I wouldn't short it here. I would wait for a possible bounce because you got a gap right here, and then that gap could fill, and then you could look into shorting. So from a prediction standpoint, I'm going to believe that this stock is going to power a little bit higher soon, eventually, not right away, because we do have selling pressure, but it could fill this gap soon, and then you'll probably see some more retesting of levels around 155 or so. And for the time being, it'll probably still be choppier. So I say 155 because this is kind of this critical level of support right around that level where we've hit a few times some support levels. If we really get nasty and the market starts acting weird, then you could watch out for like a 147, 148 level, because that's where some other support levels lie. If we start breaking out, 170 is kind of the area to watch. You can see we've done it before, but then we rejected. Even then, we stayed above it for like, a month or so, and then we sold off. So watch that 170. If you get back into it and fill the gap and you start hitting, and you're trying to break through, you're watching 170 is kind of the key. So anyways, and that's kind of my thought here on this stock and this perspective. Definitely check out the Traders Fly YouTube channel and the website if you're interested in trading options, and we'll do a lot more of these recaps here for the technical analysis people. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you kind of in the next video and episode. Have a good week ahead.